The Noon Appointment. Part 1. Kira Kirillovna had understood poison before she understood politics. Politics required adults to explain themselves. They produced papers, witnesses, family trees, legal opinions, uniforms, sermons, and then, after all that, usually lied. Poison had better manners. It entered quietly. It did only what it had been prepared to do. It respected proportion, timing, chemistry, and consequence. By 12, Kira could identify most court sedatives by smell. By 13, she could tell which antidotes in the palace infirmary had been replaced with harmless substitutes. By 14, she had stopped asking why her mother's private staff wore gloves. By 15, she had learned the rule that separated amateurs from artists. Poison was not revenge. Revenge was noisy. Revenge wanted an audience. Poison corrected the future by removing the person who had made it possible. That morning, the future had a noon appointment. Imperial Rus had spent the night tearing itself open and calling it restoration. The Tsar was dead. The false church had broken in front of the cameras. Yuri had confessed on a live feed before anyone had finished arranging the lights. Ekaterina VII had stood in Landing Park wearing a red suit and grief she did not have time to feel, and the crowd had watched a girl become a sovereign. Kira had stood behind her. That was what people would remember. They liked clean pictures, young Tsarina, loyal Duchess, ancient faith restored, dawn after terror. A tableau people could embroider later when the blood was scrubbed out of the national myth. They would not remember that Kira had nearly died in a service corridor beneath the palace when Yuri's trap sent current through her hand, up her arm, and into her chest. They would not remember that she had missed the packet of stimulants when the medic tossed it to her, had bent to retrieve it with a groan she tried to turn into a breath, and had swallowed one immediately because rest was a luxury for people whose beloveds were not being crowned Tsarina under siege. They would not remember the way she checked her pulse when she thought no one was watching. Lane had noticed. Kat had noticed more. Kira had pretended not to notice either of them noticing, because pretending was sometimes the last form of dignity. At 11:48, she excused the servants to dress herself for lunch with her father. She did not want witnesses to the clumsy work of an injured hand or to anything hidden beneath the bandage. The shirt was white, the waistcoat black, the jacket severe. Her right hand refused the smaller buttons, so she used her left and took too long. Her palm had been sealed with a transparent medical film that shone faintly when it caught the light. Under it, the burn sat pale and ugly, too neat for the amount of pain it caused. At 11:53, she dropped one cufflink. It rolled under the bed. Kira stared after it. Then she lowered herself to the floor because falling would have been undignified, and sitting could still be interpreted as a choice. For nearly a minute, she stayed there, one sleeve fastened and one hanging loose, looking at the dark gap where the cufflink had disappeared. Then she gave one short, ugly laugh. At 11:59, she was standing when the door opened. Baron Krichevsky entered blithely with white flowers. Daughter. As if the word had been waiting for him all his life. Kira inclined her head. Father. His smile widened. He was handsome in the way old portraits were handsome, arranged, deliberate, and always aware of where the best light fell. He wore civilian court dress instead of armor, a gesture of trust or vanity. With him, those were usually the same thing. You look terrible. Kira kept her chin level. I was electrocuted. So I heard. He stepped closer and studied her face, then her hand, then the slight stiffness in her shoulders. It was not concern, exactly. It was inventory. And yet there you were, he said, standing behind a throne. Beside it. Of course. His eyes moved around the room. No guards? You asked for private. I did. He offered the flowers. Kira looked at them before she took them. They're white. For victory. Not mourning? Not for us? She accepted them with her left hand. Her right still would not close properly. He noticed. Men like him mistook inspection for care. I can fix that, he said. I have doctors. The answer was so much like him that it almost made her smile. Kira set the flowers on the sideboard. She did not turn her back on him for long. Sit down. Krichevsky laughed, pleased. There she is. He had been waiting for the command in her voice, the small, hard note that sounded too much like his own. Are you hungry? Starving. That seems to run in the family. For half a second, he weighed the line. Then he laughed again, because he thought she had made a joke. The dining room had been chosen for its modest size. A small table, 2 chairs, no imperial portraits, no servants once the meal was placed. The palace had enough rooms designed to impress visiting powers. Kira had asked for one designed to be forgotten. Krichevsky sat as if the chair had been waiting for him. Kira sat across from him and let him begin. For several minutes, he talked. He spoke of provincial governors, senior officers, frightened old families, and the urgent need to move before sentiment hardened into law. He spoke of Martine as a failed instrument, Yuri as a botched investment, Armitage as vulgar, the dead Tsar as unfortunate but useful in death in a way he had not been in life. Kira ate nothing. At last, Krichevsky set his glass down. The small sound landed neatly between them. You are fading, he said. Kira did not look up from her plate. I'm listening. No. He tilted his head, correcting a student he liked. You are enduring. There's a difference. The smell of the fish had gone unpleasant somewhere between the first course and his second mention of emergency legitimacy. Then say something worth staying awake for, Kira said. His eyes brightened. Good. Kira's mouth tightened. You always say that when I'm cruel. Cruelty is only honesty without decoration. Kat disagrees. Kat is young. Kira's fork shifted under her fingers. Kat is Tsarina. For now, she is a grieving girl in a red suit with a crowd behind her and no air in her body. Kira's burned fingers twitched against the napkin. Kira lifted her eyes. Say it plainly. He leaned back, amused by her, pleased with her, already too comfortable in the role he had written for himself. Very well, Ekaterina must be protected from herself, from sentiment, from foreign influence. He paused, letting the next part arrive with the weight he believed it deserved. From whatever this attachment is that she has mistaken for love. Kira repeated him softly. This attachment? You know what I mean. I want to hear you say it. The fondness in his face thinned. Kira. Say it. Krichevsky looked at his hands. You. She nodded once. There. Was that so hard? I would never insult your intelligence by pretending you are not dangerous. That's kind of you. Krichevsky's gaze dropped briefly to her injured hand before returning to her face. And I would never insult mine by pretending a sovereign can be ruled by a girl who cannot yet legally wed, cannot produce an heir, and is currently one cardiac event away from falling under the table. Kira looked at his glass. He followed her gaze and smiled. Do you think I fear dining with you? I haven't decided. I hope not. I would be disappointed. Why do you say that? What? Disappointed? Ah. His smile warmed again, counterfeit and expensive. Fathers do have expectations. Kira's laugh came out too thin. She reached for her water, then decided against it. Krichevsky reached across the table, palm up. Come now. She looked at his hand. It was a handsome hand, long-fingered and well-kept. A laboratory hand pretending to be a nobleman's. Take it. No. You are angry. Yes. At the wrong person. Kira answered without blinking. No. Your mother is finished. Yuri is finished. Armitage is dead on a cathedral floor. The little blonde has her crown. You won. Kira's voice cut flat. She has a name. She has several, Krichevsky said. We will decide which ones history remembers. She decides. For speeches. For everything. He sat back, and for the first time, there was a real edge in him. That is not how thrones work. It is now. Kira. He chided. Don't use that tone. He drew a slow breath. I am trying to save you from a child's mistake. I am very tired of being saved by people who want to own me afterward. His fingers closed against the linen tablecloth. Is that what you think I want? He asked. Yes. Then you have misunderstood me. No. Kira leaned forward a little. The room tilted, but she refused to let him see it. I understood you very clearly. Did you? You want Kat on the throne, yourself beside her, me behind her, and a child in the nursery as soon as her body can be made useful to the state. His face did not change. You said it on the call, Kira said. I said what was necessary. You said once there was an heir, I would become a liability. He set down his glass with care. Kira, you were always going to understand that part. Were you going to tell me before or after? Before. I want you trained, not surprised. How fatherly. There is no insult in being a liability. It means you matter. I don't think you know what mattering is. That seemed to disappoint him more than defiance had. He arranged his napkin beside his plate. I know precisely what it is, he said. You matter because you can act. Kat matters because she can legitimate. I matter because I can build. Martine mattered because she could control. Yuri mattered until he failed. Kira stared at him. And Kat? I just told you. No, Kira said. You told me what she can do. She stood. The room moved too quickly. Her vision narrowed. The table seemed to drop away from her and return. She braced one hand on the table before her knees could fold. Krichevsky rose at once. Sit. No. Sit down before you collapse. You first. He looked at her. Then he looked at his glass again. You told me blood mattered, Kira said. It does. No. She swallowed against the metallic taste in her mouth. You told me power mattered and called it blood because you thought I would be lonely enough to believe you. His jaw tightened. You are overwrought. I died yesterday. You were injured. Kira took one step toward him, her voice flat. I did die. That stopped him. I heard Kat scream and came back. His voice lowered. Then you know why she must be contained. A sovereign cannot be allowed to be loved like that. She can. She will be destroyed. Not by you. Kira, don't. You sound like your precious Katya. Kira's face changed, just slightly. Good. He inhaled slowly. She watched him work through the possibilities, watched him return to the glass, the flowers, her untouched food, her left-handed grip on the chair. Did you do something? He asked. Kira looked down at the white flowers on the sideboard. You brought the flowers. His eyes narrowed. Answer me. No. Daughter. She flinched. Barely. He saw it. Then he softened again, and this softness was uglier than anger. My dear heart, don't. You're hurt, exhausted, drugged up right by doctors who do not care whether your heart survives the afternoon. He took a step toward her, and his smile became almost tender. Let me help you. You already did. How? You came. His hand missed the chair back. He looked at his fingers as if they had embarrassed him. What have you done? What you taught me. I taught you caution. No. Kira's voice was small now, but it did not shake. You taught me that people like you get worse when they are allowed to keep breathing. You stupid girl. There he is. His face changed then. Less anger, more calculation. But then he realized the calculation had nowhere left to go. My lab will be found. You do not know where. I know people who enjoy data rabbits. His mouth opened. Kira smiled. Rena sends her regards. He laughed once. It cost him. You are magnificent. Don't. You are. You are mine. No. You think the Tsarina will love this part of you? Kira's eyes burned. There, he whispered. There is the question. She stepped close enough that he could have touched her if his hands still obeyed him. Cat knows what I am. Does she? Yes. And does she know you wanted me to ask? Kira stopped breathing. Krichevsky smiled. Kira's voice went thin. Ask what? You wanted your father to ask for a kiss. Her right hand closed into a fist and failed halfway. He looked down at it. Poor child. Kira slapped him with her left hand. The sound cracked flat in the room. For a moment, both of them seemed surprised by it. Then he started to laugh, but the breath went wrong. Would you have given it? Kira said nothing. He leaned toward her, unsteady now, still vain enough to arrange himself even as his body betrayed him. Would you? No. Liar. She did not move closer. Goodbye, Father. His eyes searched hers. At the end, he understood the most important thing. You chose her. Yes, I chose her. The noon appointment, part 2. Martine's cell had a chair, a sink, and a table bolted to the floor. No curtains, no icons, no ornaments, nothing sharp enough to make a point. Someone in the Okrana had understood exactly what Martine should not be allowed to have. Martine sat with her hands folded, wearing prison gray as if it were merely another court color. When Kira entered, Martine looked first at her burned hand. Careless, Martine said, her eyes still on the bandage. You should know better than to let damage show. Kira shut the door behind her. Hello, Mother. So he's dead. Kira did not answer. Kira crossed the room but did not sit. You knew he was coming? I knew he would hurry. Martine's eyes returned to Kira's face, searching for what the meeting with him had left behind. Men like him mistake speed for destiny, she sighed and shrugged. You sound bored, Mother. I am in a room with no books, no instruments, no decent tea, and my daughter pretending she has not come here to kill me. Boredom would be generous. Kira pulled out the chair. The metal legs scraped the floor. Kira sat. You could ask how I am, Kira said. You are upright. I was electrocuted. I almost died. I see that. Kira's fingers tightened on the edge of the chair. Kat screamed. Yes, she does that. Kira's face went cold. Martine tilted her head. Oh, don't look so offended. It was not a criticism. You don't get to speak about her. I have spoken about princesses all my life. She is Tsarina. For the moment. Kira leaned forward, her voice low and exact, carrying the hard little command her father had been so pleased to hear. "Say that again." Martine smiled. "There she is." Kira's burned hand spasmed under the table. "You should not be awake. I'm busy." "You are 15. How busy can you be?" Kira looked at her mother's face. She had tried to find herself there before. The shape of a brow, the set of a mouth. Some proof she had not been assembled out of spare strategy and left in the palace to sharpen. "You kept them drugged," Kira said. "Yes." Kira waited for more. Nothing came. "Kat's father." "Yes." "The Tsarina." "Yes." Kira forced the next word out. "Me?" Martine's smile faded. "No." "Why?" "Because I wanted to see what you would become." Kira looked at her hands. "And?" "And you became inconvenient." "That's all?" "What were you hoping for?" "I don't know." Martine looked almost amused. "Yes, you do." Kira looked down. Martine tapped one finger on the table. "Say it." "No." "Say it. You came all this way. Don't become shy now." Kira's voice came out quiet. "I wanted you to see me." "I do see you." "No." Kira's eyes lifted. "You see your work." Martine sat back. For the first time, she looked tired. "I saw you in the palace when you were 9. You were hiding behind the third-floor service grill with a stolen pastry knife, listening to 2 ministers discuss whether Katya's first public gown should be blue or white." Kira remembered the grill, the dust, her knees hurting from the stone lip, the pastry knife tucked against her sleeve because even at 9 she preferred a useless blade to an empty hand. "You knew?" Kira asked. "You breathed too loudly." "Why didn't you say anything?" "You were learning." "I was lonely, Mother." Martine did not soften. "Yes." Martine folded her hands again. "You think I do not know what that means?" "No." "You sound like your precious Ekaterina." Kira laughed softly. "Everyone keeps saying that like it's a diagnosis." Martine's eyes narrowed slightly. "Love will ruin your timing." Kira pushed her thumb against the edge of her bandage until pain cleared her fear. "She is my timing." Martine's mouth twitched. "That was very sweet. Try not to say it in public." Kira stood too fast. The chair banged back against the floor. She had to grip the table with both hands. Pain ran up her right arm, hard enough to blur the room. She breathed through her teeth until the blur receded. Martine did not move. "There are guards outside," Kira said. "If you call them, they'll come." "Yes." "You won't?" "No." Kira searched her mother's face. "Why?" Martine looked at her as if the answer were obvious. "Because I am curious." "That's all?" "No." "What else?" "I am proud." Kira's mouth opened, then closed. "There, that is what you wanted." Kira stepped back. "Stop." "You wanted it from him too," Martine said. "You also wanted him to be impossible to kill. You want me to ask you not to kill me." Kira hit the table with her burned hand. The pain folded her forward before she could stop it. It stole the next breath and left her hunched over the table, teeth clenched, eyes wet from pain and fury both. Martine rose. Kira backed away at once, one hand clutched against her chest. Martine stopped. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Then Martine said softly, "You should have stayed in bed." Kira laughed. It broke in the middle. "You don't get that line." Martine's head tilted. "No?" "No." "Who does?" "Kat." Martine's face changed. There it was, the small disgust. Martine could understand possession, leverage, even loyalty, but not love that made room for another person to wound you. Kira saw it and became steady. "You never loved me," Kira said. "I let you live." Kira went very still. The sentence found the child first, then the killer. Martine looked at her for a long time. "What did he say to you?" "Father?" "Yes. That Cat needed an heir, that he could train me to replace you, that after there was a child I would be a liability." Martine gave a small, humorless smile. "Idiot." "Because he said it?" "Because he thought you mattered." Kira stared. Martine's smile sharpened. "Do not look so wounded. I am being complimentary." "You really don't know how to love anyone." "I know how to keep them alive." Martine walked to the other side of the table. Close now. Kira did not move. Her mother reached up and adjusted Kira's crooked tie. Kira froze. "There," Martine said. "You look less like a brawl and more like a duchess." For 1 second, Kira looked like someone's daughter. "My poor girl." Kira caught her wrist. The transparent medical film across Kira's burned palm pressed against Martine's skin. For half a second, she held her mother there, tight enough for the poison hidden along the edge of the bandage to smear onto Martine's wrist. "Don't," Kira warned. Martine's fingers rested against the knot of the tie as she realized what was happening. "You came here wanting to poison me." Kira did not answer. "You came here wanting me to be a mother." Kira's grip tightened. "One of these is easier. Don't make me hate you more." "I am not making you anything." Kira let go. Martine lowered her hand. "If you do this, she will forgive you." Kira looked at the door. "I know. That should worry you." "It does." "Good." Kira turned back. "Do you want to live?" Martine smiled faintly. What an adolescent question. "Answer it." "Yes. My preference would have been to live." Kira nodded. Martine's eyes narrowed. You hoped I wouldn't, because then you could call this mercy." Kira whispered, "Shut up." "No." "I hate you." "Yes, and still you came." Kira's voice cracked. "I loved you." "Good girl." Kira moved to the door and opened it. Behind her, Martine's hand settled on the table. The wrist Kira had grabbed turned bright purple where the bandage had touched it. A guard looked in. "Your Grace?" Kira did not look back. "My mother is ready." Martine laughed behind her. The Noon Appointment, Part 3. Kat found Kira in the chapel that had been reopened by necessity. Someone had taken the dust sheets off the icons. Someone else had left a toolbox under the altar. The restored church would have to survive several things, including poor housekeeping. Kira sat in the first pew with her hands in her lap, shoulders squared so tightly that even from the doorway Kat could see the pain in it. Kat came in without attendance. Kira did not turn. "Is he dead?" Kat asked. "Yes," Kira said. "Is she?" "Yes." Kat walked down the aisle. Her shoes made very little sound on the old stone. She had changed out of the red suit. Her hair was still pinned for cameras, but not well. A few strands had escaped near her temples. Kat stopped at the end of the pew. "Did anyone see you come here?" "No." "Kira?" Kira kept looking toward the altar. "I don't know." Kat sat beside her. For a while, they listened to the buildings settle around them. Somewhere beyond the chapel, palace staff were moving furniture, relocking doors, deciding which portraits belonged to the old regime, and removing them. Port Romanov was already remaking itself. Finally, Kat said, "You're bleeding." Kira looked down at her hand. Her burned palm had split where she had struck the table in Martine's cell. Blood had gathered at the edge of the medical film and slipped beneath her cuff. The poisoned strip was gone now, peeled away and discarded before she ever came here, leaving only the torn medical film and the burn beneath it. "Oh!" Kat took a clean cloth from her pocket. "Give it to me." "It's fine. Give me your hand." Kira obeyed. Kat wrapped the cloth around her palm with careful pressure. She worked as if Kira's body were a matter of state, which perhaps it was now, though Kira had strong objections to that entire concept. Kira watched her fingers. "She fixed my tie," Kira said. Kat paused. "Your mother?" "Yes." "And you let her?" "Yes." Kat resumed wrapping. "Did you want to?" "No." "Kira?" Kira looked down at their hands. "Maybe, yes." Kat tied the cloth off. Kira flexed her hand and winced. "Don't do that," Kat said. "I wanted her to say something else." "What?" "I don't know." Kat looked at her, very tired and very patient. "Yes, you do." Kira shut her eyes. "I hate when people say that. I learned from terrible company." Kira opened her eyes. "I wanted her to ask me not to kill her." Kat looked at her. "And your father?" Kira swallowed. "He asked if I would have kissed him." Kat's hand closed around hers. "I didn't." "I know." Kira gripped her hand back, too hard and not hard enough. "I didn't kiss either of them." "I know." "I thought that would make it easier." Kat's thumb moved once over the back of her hand. "Did it?" "No." "Good." Kira looked at her sharply. Kat's eyes were red. "If it had been easy, I would be frightened." "You should be frightened anyway." "I am." Kira pulled her hand back. "Then why are you sitting here?" "Because you are." "I killed them." "Yes." "For you." "No. Do not give me that." "It's true." Kat's voice sharpened. "Do not hand me the knife after the fact and call it devotion." Something closed in Kira's face. "I see." "Kira?" "No, that was clear, Your Majesty." Kat flinched. "Don't. I understand." "Kira." Kat shifted closer. "You're doing the thing where you lock your face into the Duchess and call it court manners." Kira looked away. Kat let the silence stretch. Then she said, "I will not be your excuse." Kira's mouth trembled. Kat reached over and gently turned Kira's face back toward her and touched her cheek. "I will be your witness." Kira went still. "That is harder," Kat said. "I don't want harder." "I know." Kira let her head fall back against the pew. "I want to sleep for 6 years." "You may have 6 hours." Kira blinked at her. "That seems poorly negotiated." "We are new at ruling." Kira laughed. It hurt. She pressed her hand against her ribs and bent forward. Kat moved at once. "Don't. I'm all right." "You are not." "No, I'm not." Kat put her arm around Kira's shoulders. Kira leaned into her with the last of whatever had been holding her upright. "I'm not sorry," Kira said. Kat kissed her hair. "I didn't ask." "I might be later." "Then be later." "I might be worse than them." "No." Kira shifted just enough to look at her. "You can't know that." "I can." "How?" "Because you asked." Kira breathed once. Shallow. Then again. "You shouldn't love me." Kat answered without hesitation. "Take that up with God. He seems very involved this week." Kira made a sound against her shoulder. It might have been a laugh. Kat held her tighter. Outside, bells began ringing again. For the dead Tsar, for the new Tsarina, for the restored church, for the city beginning again. Kira listened. Cat? Kira murmured. Yes? If I fall asleep, don't let anyone take my shoes off. Cat looked down at her. Why? I don't know. It feels important. Fine. And don't let Winslet scan me. He is absolutely scanning you. Traitor? Yes. Kira's eyes closed. After a moment, she whispered, She fixed my tie. Cat looked at the precise knot, then at the blood on the cloth around Kira's hand. She did it badly. Kira's mouth twitched. Liar. Yes. Cat rested her cheek against Kira's hair. I am learning.